Hey guys, so today we're going to learn how to do a properly aligned sun salutation, which is something that you see a lot in classes and a lot of yoga classes, and so we want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And so you may have seen sun salutations. There's a lot of different variations of them. This is going to be a very basic one, and I'm going to show you a few options so that if you need something a little bit less strenuous, you can do that on those days, or if you need to kick it up a notch, you can do it then as well. So we always start our yoga practice at the front of our mat. So you're going to start at the front of your mat. Your feet are going to be hip width distance. You can start with your hands by your sides, palms face forward, and a nice strong stance here. So you want to make sure you're elongating the spine, so pretend like there's something pulling you up and then something pulling you down through the surface of your feet. Nice and grounded. This is your power pose, mountain pose. So we start all sun salutations here. This is a pose that you can see again and again throughout every yoga class. Really grounding down in the feet. Pelvis is forward, so you're not sticking your butt out and damaging your lower back. Pelvis forward, nice and strong. And then on the inhale, you're going to inhale your arms up. Now I have a wall here, so I'm going to do a little bit different. So I'm not going to inhale my arms like this. I'm going to inhale my arms like this. So again, feet nice and grounded. Inhale, arms come up. Pause here, look up to your thumbs, and exhale, fold forward. When you fold forward, you want to bring your belly to your thighs. So however you need to do it, to bend your knees a lot so that your belly is on your thighs, your hands are resting on the floor, head is relaxed. And it's from here, belly to thigh, that you begin to lengthen the back of your legs. Deep inhale in. And let it out. Belly becomes heavier towards the thighs. Head relaxes even more. So we went from mountain pose to a forward fold. Next pose is halfway lift. You can do this in 3 different ways. Option 1, come onto your fingertips and look forward. Long spine. Option 2, hands on the shins. Long spine again, so crown of the head reaches away from the tailbone. And option 3, hands to thighs. You can come up a little bit higher and keep lengthening in the spine. That is a halfway lift. Usually we exhale and fold again. And on the next inhale, send your feet back. So here's where the differentiations come into place. So I'm going to show you the harder option the first time around. So option 1, we're in a plank. You want to make sure your shoulders start right above your hands, your wrists, fingers are spread out wide. You draw the heels back and see if you can even just go a little bit forward and back here. The next thing is going to be chaturanga. So without our knees on the ground, we're going to shift our weight forward. Shoulders are going to come past the wrists, lower down halfway, and then move into upward facing dog. So upward facing dog, we're on the tops of our feet and our hands, that's it. You want to pull the shoulders back, look forward, maybe up. Don't let too much weight drop into your lower back, so active belly core, and then roll back into downward facing dog. So here, if your heels aren't quite touching the ground, that's okay. You can bend your knees a lot, send your belly back, and start lengthening from here. You can even alternate heels, one heel at a time. And what you want is a nice long line between the fingertips all the way through to the hips. So notice I'm trying to internally rotate my shoulders. So I'm trying to hide my armpits here and pressing into my hands to lengthen the back, pedaling out my feet. And then from here, we're going to look forward. Hardest option. Again, first, you can look forward, bend your knees, and then jump your feet forward to the front of your mat and come back into your forward fold. When you're ready, inhale, halfway lift, and fold. Rise all the way back up. Arms come up, look up at your thumbs, and then exhale, hands back down. So that was the harder version of this series of poses, this sun salutation. So we're gonna take it down a notch and do it a little bit less strenuously, a little bit less hard for those of you who prefer those options. And this is a good thing to do like 10 times over and over. Repeat it and just wake up with that. It's a really great way to get the blood moving and to stretch out the whole body. So option number 2, you're gonna inhale the arms up, exhale, fold, belly to thighs, drop the head, inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold again. Take one breath here, and then when you're ready, step your feet back for the plank, but this time, instead of staying in plank, you're gonna bring your knees down to the ground. So just check that your knees are underneath your hips, your hands are underneath your shoulders, long spine here, belly button towards your spine, and then you're going to slowly lower down to your chest and chin. So it's going to look like this. My elbows are going to stay by my sides. I'm slowly lowering down, chin and chest come down, and then I'm going to slide through to prepare for cobra. Forehead to the ground as I prepare. My hands are by my sides, shoulders squeezing towards one another, elbows up. You're gonna start by pressing your pelvis into the ground. Press your lower abs into the ground, upper abs into the ground, and then use that to bring yourself up. Look up to the sky. So here I'm not even using my hands. Make sure this part is lengthening, and then release. When you're ready, inhale back up to tabletop, and then tuck your toes under from tabletop. Bring your knees off the ground first, knees off the ground, and then you're gonna send your hips back as far as they go. Lift your glutes up and move into downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Always keep a soft bend in your knees. Always have this bounceability in your arms too, so you don't wanna be hyperextending anything. And your neck here is an extension of your spine. So you notice here, I'm looking towards my belly button, but really my neck wants to be here. So it wants to be nice and long. So your ears are aligned with your upper arms, with your shoulders. And you can begin to draw your ears away from your shoulders as you internally rotate them. So we don't want to crunch the shoulders into the ears into the shoulders. We want some space there, long neck. Fingers are spread out wide. And then here you'll look forward and step your feet forward. Coming back to the front of our mats, forward fold. Next inhale, halfway lift and fold. Inhale it all the way back up. And exhale, hands by your sides. So that was 2 options for the sun salutation A, which you'll often see in classes. And now let's do them together. I'll go through 2 hard ones and 2 easy ones for you. So again, starting at the front of our mats, this time we'll start with the easy ones. So easy ones, inhale, arms come up, and exhale, fold. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale in. Exhale, send your feet back. Knees come down to the ground. Inhale in. Exhale, lower chest and chin. Slide through to your belly. Forehead rests on the floor. If you want to challenge yourself, bring your hands off the ground. When you're ready, belly, pelvis, everything, reach, everything in your belly activates and presses you up for cobra. Look up to the sky here and fold. Press back up into tabletop on the inhale. Tuck your toes under, hips, knees off the ground, hips back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. And I will say this is a lot easier with no shoes on and a nice grippy mat. There's some really good mats out there that you can get to help with that. The ultimate practice, though, I've been told once in a class, is that you get to do this on ice. So think about doing this on ice. I know I don't have that type of core strength yet, but something to look forward to. When you're ready, look forward. You typically want to take about 2-3 breaths in downward dog, and then step your feet forward to meet your hands. And fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale it up. And exhale, come back to Tadasana, mountain pose, strong, 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 strong foundational pose. Feet anchored into the ground. It's like you're stomping your feet without lifting them off the ground. Active hands, shoulders are relaxed. If you need to, roll your shoulders back and down. Looking forward, we're ready for second one of variation 2. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, fold. Belly to thighs, relax your head, press your toes into the ground. Next inhale brings you halfway lift. And fold. Step your feet back and bring your knees down to the ground. Make sure your wrists are right underneath your shoulders, knees are right underneath your hips, and when you're ready, lean forward, shoulders past the wrists, slowly lower down, keeping the elbows out tight by your sides, chest and chin come down, so make sure your elbows aren't out here, elbows are tight by the side. Let your belly come down to the ground, tops of the feet down on the ground, forehead on the ground. Press your pelvis into the ground, activate your entire abdomen, and rise up for cobra. Squeeze shoulder blades together, and then release. Back up to tabletop on the inhale. Tuck the toes under, knees off the ground, send the hips back, and up, downward facing dog. So you can pedal it out here, you can play around with your breath. If you want, you can inhale onto your tiptoes, exhale, heels back. Your feet are about hip width distance here, so make sure your feet aren't together or too far apart. Bring them back. Hip width distance is about 2 fists next to one another. And when you're ready, look forward at your hands, step your feet forward. Beautiful. Back to the front of your mat. Let it all out. Next inhale, halfway lift. And fold. Rise all the way up on the next inhale. Arms come up. Look between your thumbs and exhale your arms down by your sides. All right. So you can do that a couple times if you'd like, or we'll move on to option 2. Option 2 is a little bit more difficult, requires a little bit more belly strength, so make sure you don't injure your back. If you're ready for number 2, you can always try and then drop down to your knees or modify as you need. So when we're ready, feet hip width distance, again, that's 2 fists next to one another, in between your feet, and then gather your feet around. Make sure you're nice and grounded. Inhale, arms come up, and exhale, fold. Halfway lift, and fold. Step your feet back. This time we're staying in plank, so readjust your hands so they're right underneath your shoulders. Wiggle your feet back if you need to. Activate your core, so I'm not dumping here. If this is where you're at, then just bring your knees down. If you can withstand this plank, then you can be up here, but do not hurt your back by dumping into your lower back like that. All right, from here we'll shift forward onto our toes, lower down halfway, upward facing dog. So I'm on the tops of my feet, my hands, shoulders back, chin up. And then I'm rolling back over my toes or untucking my toes and coming back to downward facing dog. Deep inhale in and let it out. Inhale in and out. Last breath in and let it out. Look forward, option to step your feet or to jump your feet forward, whatever you like. If you're jumping, try to jump and land without making a sound. So you're sending your energy into the back, and you're sending all your way into your feet, and then slowly arriving forward. Forward fold. When your next inhale is ready, rise to halfway lift and fold. Inhale all the way up, arms come up, and exhale, hands by your sides. Last one, let's do it. Inhale the arms up. And when you are here with your hands up towards the ceiling, make sure that your ears are not crunching into your shoulders. So drop your shoulders down. So we're not here, we're here. Active fingers again, spread your fingers out wide. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold. When you're ready, step your feet back into plank. You can also jump your feet back into plank if you'd like, but we'll step them back this time. I'll show you afterwards what it's like to jump your feet back if you'd like. You're gonna shift your weight forward. Your shoulders are passing your wrists, and then lower down. Upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Make sure you're pressing the hands into the ground, internally rotating the shoulders, long neck, not crunching the ears by your shoulders, long spine. And again, if your heels don't touch like mine do, that's totally fine. I probably just have a little bit more practice. But soon, if you practice this quite a bit, your heels will be able to touch down. Not that that's a goal, but if it is for you, it's a nice feeling to be able to stretch out the whole back of the legs. You can slightly tilt your pelvis up. So internally tilt, tailbones reaching up towards the sky. Again, pressing your hands into the ground, dropping the ears away from the shoulders. And when you're ready, look forward, step or jump your feet forward, land, release, halfway lift, and fold. Rise all the way up, hands by your sides. And you have just done a bunch of sun salutations. So if you have any questions, let me know. I am here to help. Send me a message, and I'm happy to give you some more tips. So if you are wondering how to jump your feet back from a forward fold, you can actually jump your feet right back to chaturanga, to a low push-up. It's gonna look something like this. Again, you can try it. If you fail, get back up. So you're going to be in a forward fold here. Hands come a little bit further forward than normal. So I like to bring my hands like maybe 2-3 inches from my toes. Arms are shoulders width distance. Then you're gonna lean into your hands, and you're gonna shoot your feet back. So lean into the hands, almost like if you could lift your feet off the ground, and shoot back. From here, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog.